In this video, I'm going to give you an example of the strategy design pattern in Python and how you can use it to write better code. Quite often it happens that you have several options for doing something in your code, and depending on the situation you want to do something different. For example, if you have customer support software, you might want to change the way support tickets are processed depending on how busy it is or how many staff you have available on that particular day. Or what if you're building a VR application and depending on the VR set that's used, you want to use a different rendering algorithm without having to change the code. These are perfect examples of where you could use a design pattern called the strategy. Design patterns are generic solutions to problems that you encounter as a developer. The original design patterns book is already quite old. It's from 1995, but a lot of the patterns are still very useful today, even though some of them can be tweaked a bit to better use the latest features of programming languages nowadays. The strategy pattern is a good example of a pattern that has stood the test of time. It's widely used, and any serious software developer should have this pattern in their collection of tools. I use it quite a lot throughout my code as it helps me write code that's easier to change. And if you're working in a startup like me, things change all the time. I'm going to show you an example in Python where I'll apply the strategy pattern so you can see how it works. So if you're ready, let's dive in. This example deals with handling support tickets. We have a support ticket class that has an ID, it has a name of the customer and a description of the issue. And we have a class customer support that maintains a list of tickets. It has a method for creating a ticket. It also has a method for processing tickets. And then finally, when it's actually processing the tickets, just for testing, it's now printing out the ticket information. If you look at the process tickets method, you see that it has a processing strategy. The idea is that there are various ways that you can process tickets. In this case, you can use first in, first out. You can also use a first in, last out strategy, or you can use a random strategy. And this defines the order in which the tickets are handled. You can see there's an if-else statement here below that, depending on the value of this processing strategy that you provide, does something else. So if it's first in, first out, it simply goes through all the tickets in the list of tickets and then processes them. If it's first in, last out, it creates a reversed version of that list and handles the tickets in the reverse order. And if it's random, it creates a copy of the list, shuffles the tickets that are in the list, and then just handles each of the tickets in that list. To test this, you simply create a customer support instance, then you register a few tickets, and then you process the tickets. So in this case, it's first in, last out. Let's see what that looks like. So you can see that John Smith was the first person who registered the ticket, and he was also processed last. Now if I change this to first in, first out, we get a different behavior. You see that John's ticket is actually processed first. The problem in this code obviously lies in this if-else statement here. Because of the if-else statement, process tickets is quite long. If you want to add more strategies, it means you need to extend this part, and then the process tickets method becomes even longer. So currently, process tickets has weak cohesion because it's responsible for not only processing the tickets, but also for implementing each of these different strategies. Now, the strategy design pattern aims to solve exactly this kind of problem, where you have a method that tries to do too many things, that has to choose between a strategy of doing something differently. In the classic strategy pattern, we're creating a class for each of these processing strategies. And that class has one method that does the actual processing that's called from process tickets. We define the interface for this class using an abstract base class. So let's first import that. And then let's create a basic strategy class. We have a ticket ordering class that has one abstract method called create ordering. And depending on the actual strategy that you use, FILO, FIFO, random, etc., create ordering will have a different implementation. So create ordering needs a list of tickets. And in Python we can provide type hints to specify what that looks like, and it also returns a list of tickets. And obviously in the abstract class the method does nothing because there is no implementation yet. So this defines what an ordering strategy looks like. It has a create ordering method, you put in a list and you get back a list that follows this ordering that you want. Now what you can do is create subclasses for each of these specific ordering types. For example, I could create a first in, first out ordering strategy. Not Fifi, that's a dog. FIFO, first in, first out ordering strategy, and it's a subclass of ticketing ordering strategy. And that means it needs to implement the create ordering method. So the first in, first out ordering strategy is pretty simple. It simply follows the list from left to right. So what we can do here is simply return a copy of the list. Now, if we want to create a first in, last out ordering strategy, let me copy this code to make this a bit quicker. First in, last out. Then the create ordering should not just return a copy of the list, but it should actually return the reverse of that. So I'm creating the copy, I'm reversing the list, and then I'm returning that copy here. And similarly, I can also make a random ordering strategy. So now I have three classes: FIFO ordering, FILO ordering, and random ordering. And each of these implements a particular strategy for dealing with the list of tickets. Now what I can do in the customer support class is actually change the process tickets method to no longer get a string like this, but actually get a strategy object that it can use. So I'm going to change this here. This is a processing strategy, is not a string, but it's a ticket ordering strategy. Then I can split all this code into two steps. First, I create an ordered list according to the processing strategy, and then I simply process each of the tickets. So first, create the list. And for that, I'm going to use the processing strategy. And I'm going to call the create ordering method. And that needs the list of tickets. So this is now my ordered list of tickets according to the processing strategy that I chose. Now the only thing you need to do is go through the ticket list and process each of the tickets. So I'm going to copy this code here. And then we of course need to go through this list. So now I'm processing the tickets. And now I can remove the whole if statement that's here. So now you see it's very simple. Process tickets has a ticket ordering strategy. It doesn't know what the ordering actually is. That's the responsibility for the ticket ordering strategy. The only thing it does is it creates the ordered list and then it processes the tickets. Now one minor cleanup thing is that we might want to create this ordered list before we check if the list is empty, because the processing strategy may actually remove things from the list. We're not sure. So we're going to move this here to the top like this, and then I'm going to check for the length of the ordered ticket list. So now if you look at the final code, we still need to create the actual instances of these classes, because process tickets no longer accepts a string. So to reproduce this in this example random behavior, let's create a random ordering strategy that we give to the process tickets method. And then when we run this code, we obviously get an error because that always happens. So let's see, it says that support ticket is not defined. Why is support ticket not defined? Support ticket is not defined because the class is below these classes. So I need to put this class up on top, and then that problem should be solved. So there we go. Let's try that again. And yes, there we are. So now I'm using the random ticket processing strategy. If I want to use another strategy like the first in, first out strategy, I simply replace the processing strategy instance that I pass to the process ticket method. So then you get this. Now the nice thing here is that process ticket itself doesn't know anything about the ordering strategy that's used. It simply creates the ordering and then goes through each of the tickets. So that reduces the responsibility of the process tickets method, leading to higher cohesion. And the nice thing, what you can do now is create new strategies, and you won't have to change anything at all in the process tickets method. For example, perhaps I'd like to have a black hole ordering strategy that simply throws away all of the tickets. So let's create a black hole strategy like this. And now I add here the black hole ticket ordering strategy, and then there are no tickets to process. Great, this is the perfect way to deal with customer support. So what you see here is a classic example of the strategy pattern that's based on the principles of object-oriented design. So we're using abstract classes and subclasses of these abstract classes to define the strategies, and that's how it works. I'm going to show you an example of how to do this in a bit more simple way. Because Python has support for functional programming, we can use functions directly instead of using these classes. And this is actually something that I generally prefer to do when I'm creating a strategy pattern, is to not having to create all these classes, but simply use the functions themselves. So let's see how that works. For this more functional approach to the strategy pattern, we're not going to need an abstract class. So I'm simply going to remove this class here. And then these classes are each going to turn into a simple function. I'm actually also going to remove the class definitions here, and I'm going to rename these functions so that they specify the strategies that they represent. So now you see this is much shorter. We simply have a function that gets a list and that returns a list. And actually this self is also no longer needed here. So these are now just basic Python functions for each of the ordering types. And instead of expecting here a ticket ordering strategy, we're simply getting a processing strategy function. So let's call this process strategy function. And then I'm simply calling the function here directly. And now when I create the application, I don't need to create this object anymore, but I can simply pass the function name. So first in, first out ordering. And then if I call this method now, we're getting the first in, first out ordering. And if I change this to the random ordering function, then we get a random ordering. Overall, using functions in this way is a bit shorter. Obviously, you're not really defining the interface as strictly in this case, because arguably anything could be passed here as a parameter. We don't know that processing strategy is actually a function. There is no type hint here. We could add a type hint to be more strict. I'll just quickly show you how that works. If you want to add a type hint for a function parameter, you're going to need the callable keyword. And let's use that here to specify what the type of this processing strategy function looks like. So we need callable, and callable is a function that has one parameter, a list of support tickets, and one return type. And the way you specify this is by using these square brackets, and it's a bit counterintuitive. I think a language like TypeScript is a lot cleaner in how you do this, but well, this is how you have to do it in Python. So if callable, it has one input parameter, which is a list of support tickets, and it also has a return type, which is also a list of support tickets. Now I can run it and it has exactly the same effect, except that we're a bit stricter about what the processing strategy function is and what we expect there. So this is a more basic version of the strategy pattern. Personally, I find this a bit cleaner, especially in languages like TypeScript, where you can actually provide a neat definition of these kind of function types, and you don't need all the classes and the overhead that it generates. So it's a bit shorter, it's a bit quicker, and I generally prefer this kind of approach. I've put a link in the description to the original Design Patterns book, as well as a few other books and resources that you might find interesting if you want to learn more about the strategy pattern and design patterns in general. There's also a link to a Git repository with the code example from this video for you to play around with. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this. Give my video a like to support my channel and consider subscribing if you want to watch more of my content. Thanks for watching, take care, and see you soon.